guys, welcome back. It's been a while since I've done a sit down book video, but here I am doing a sit down book video. I know it's February and it's super late for me to be doing like a 2022 wrap up slash best and worst books, but I figure better late than never. I was very preoccupied at the beginning and end of last year, beginning of this year with the pain and the surgery and the healing and all that stuff. So I am happily sitting on the ground. I'm almost I just passed my month mark. So I've got another week and a half before my 6-week mark. And once my 6-week mark hits, I may hopefully be cleared to live a normal life again. But I'm good enough to sit on the floor. So I'm going to do my yearly wrap up. I've been thinking a lot about it. I think I want to do these quarterly. So every 3 months or so, because I don't read a lot. I think, fingers crossed, I'm finally coming out of my book slump that I've been in for the last like 3 years. So I made some notes here to do my best and my worst, to give you my totals, to give you the new books versus the rereads. So because of how my brain works, when I'm in pain or not feeling good or slumpy, I will listen to books. Especially books that are very near and dear to my heart. So I have a tendency to reread more than I actually read new books. This year proves that. It's not huge. It's like a 55 to 45 split, but it's still, obviously, I favor my rereads versus my normal ones. I read 77 books total for the 2022 year. 37 of those books were new books to me. Books that I had never read before. The other 40 books were rereads, whether it was the series that shall not be named, or if it was Sarah J. Maas or Ready Player One or Hunger Games. I started Divergent over again. So, I mean, those are my top ones. Is obviously the 7-book series that we will not name. And then my next most popular is Ready Player One, because that's one of my favorite books. I read Ready Player 2 a couple of times, but I really prefer the first one. So a lot of times I'll read the first one, not the second one too. I think I read the second one once or twice this year, and I read the first one like 3 or 4 times. And then I went through all of Sarah J. Maas's books again. It takes me a while to get through Throne of Glass. It takes me no time whatsoever to get through the ACOTAR books. I still have not read the newest one, the one from Nesta's point of view, because I know how she is with her cliffhangers. And so I choose not to read those until we have dates for the other 2. But I'll get there eventually. I am looking forward to those because I do love those books. And then, like I said, I always read Hunger Games over again. I do like the snakes and whatever it's called, the one from Snow's point of view. I do like that one. A lot of people don't like it, but that's not me. I like that one. I will listen to the main Hunger Games repeatedly. I have listened to the new one a couple of times total. And then, like I said, I started Divergent over again, which was weird. I only listened to the first one. I haven't started the second one yet. But I was shocked at the fact that I forgot all of it. I haven't read it in years. I read it when it first came out, so I don't remember any of that series. So it's been kind of fun to reread it because my daughter's reading it and she starts talking about it and it makes me think about it, and snowball effect. As far as the books that are new to me, I figure I can run through them really fast for you. I reread the first 3 books of the I Hate Fairyland and then finished it off with the 4th one. I read The Library of the Dead, It Happened One Summer, Alice, The Red Queen, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, One of Those Days, The Mermaid, The Fable, Namesake, Lore Volume 1, the Lore Olympus, the one that's Hades and Persephone. I have the second one, but I don't know where it is. We lost it somewhere in the move. Etiquette and Espionage, Final Girl Support Group, Undead Girl Gang, Wish You Were Here, Survive the Night, Lost Boys, Renegades, Fahrenheit 451, Home Before Dark, Babysitter's Covenant, Goddess of Spring, Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Sky in the Deep, The The Sea Gave Back, We Were Never Here, The Great Hunt 1 and 2, Down the Rabbit Hole, The Beast and Briar, Where the Drowning Girls Go, Across the Green Grass Fields, Under the Whispering Door, Nothing But Blackened Teeth, Lessons in Vengeance, Tender as the Flesh, and Midnight Library. Don't mind me as I read it off because I have them all written down. Those are all the books that the new books I read. I only counted I Hate Fairyland number 4 because I'd already read the first 3, and so I didn't count those ones. Those ones are in the reread section. I figured that I would also talk about the ones that I like the best and the ones I like the least, instead of giving you like a bunch of books that you've probably read and or don't care about. So I don't know if I want to start with the worst or the best. I guess I'm going to go with the best first because that's what I have written down is my top books, and I can give you a little bit more information. I don't know where they are. I have this issue with once I read a book, I will donate it or put it away. So if you notice, the books behind me are all unread because I have a serious problem with buying books. I also have another haul for you that I will film right after this. So you'll get to see why I have so many issues. If you've been on my channel for any length of time, you know that I like to buy bargain books. I will buy them from any place I can find that is cheap. I very, very rarely buy books at full price because that's how I got this. But yeah, all the books that I read are upstairs or on a different bookshelf, and or I get rid of them. So I don't know where all these books are. Some of them I don't even have physical copies of because I listened to them and never bought them. So yeah, I will just do this and put up some, covers for you. So I don't know how I want to go about this. The Every Heart Doorway is one of my favorite series. So I put number 6 and 7 on my list. I listened to both of those because I did not own them. I still do not own Where the Green Grass Grows. I only have my gosh, I forgot the name of it already. Where the Drowning Girls Go. I was going to say Come Tumbling Down, but that's number 2, and I read 6 and 7. I have not read 8 yet, which just came out. I just haven't gotten that far. But I like those ones a lot. I know a lot of people didn't like Where the Grass one, the one with all the centaurs and stuff, but I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I enjoy most of this series. I think the only book that I haven't liked was the Sugar one. The rest of them I really thoroughly enjoyed. And so I was able to listen to the most recent 2 as of the end of 2022. So number 8 is obviously out now. I just haven't gotten that far yet. And I will buy both of these eventually. I have one but not the other. I just need Where the Green Grass Grows. I'm talking too fast. I'm sorry. I haven't done this in a long time. Ooh. Okay, the next one I liked was Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. And this is not her usual. This was a COVID book, and it was a short audiobook, and I had a shift in boarding in California, and an 8-hour shift in there. You can make it through a book if it's not too long, if it's a little sped up, that type of thing. I listen to my books about 1.5. I am mostly a realist when it comes to the fact that I cannot listen to, I listen to most of my books about 1.5. I don't remember what I listened to that one at, but I did make it through that entire book in one shift. So probably 1.5 to 2.0. I don't listen to them too fast because I'm assuming ADHD. We're not positive. I'm not diagnosed. But my brain does tend to wander. If I'm doing something else, I will forget what I'm doing. There's just all that stuff. So I have to listen to it a little bit slower, so that way if my mind wanders a little bit, I haven't missed an entire chapter. I've only missed a couple sentences. And then I can rewind it a little bit and go back along my way. So I listened to that in one full shift. And normally COVID books just aren't something that I'm interested in. I've only read one, and that was the one I read, and I did like it a lot. But it's not something that I really want to read a lot of because I lived it. Why am I going to want to read something that I lived through? But I liked it. It was weird. It's definitely not a Jodi book that I would if you like Jodie a lot, I would not suggest that one because it's definitely not her type of book. It's got a twist in it and it is definitely interesting, but it's more of a romance and more of a what if than it is anything else. Like, you know, what if you live during a pandemic and you're not at home? So this book is about this woman who gets into a fight with her boyfriend and goes on vacation by herself and has, you know, is stuck in the middle of this little island that's all closed up during COVID. She makes friends. She, you know, potentially falls in love. She definitely has a little bit of a romance in there. And it's kind of like a what if. I don't want to say any more because I will definitely give it away because I can hear myself trying to right now and I'm going to just stop. But if Jodie is definitely like, you love her, you love her plots, I wouldn't go there because this is not a normal Jodie book. The next book that I really loved was Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. It was one of the few books that I actually physically read this year. In years past, I will 50-50 it. Well, I'll read half my books and I'll listen to half my books. This was a year where I think I read 3 books and I listened to the majority of my books. But this one I physically read. I got it from Barnes & Noble. Me and my daughter were just there one day. We had just moved in and we were waiting for our couches to be delivered. And if you've watched my bookshelf thing, you actually saw me reading this book. It was really, really cute. It is definitely a YA, even middle grade possibly book. It's the after Sally and Jack get married, they find these doorways to other holidays. You know how in Nightmare he finds the one for Christmas and goes through it and becomes Santa Claus. But in this, they actually honeymoon in Valentine's Day. And it's about the different doors that are there, and Sally finds another door that's kind of hidden back in the brush. And it's all the stuff that happens because of that door. And I loved it. I thought it was super cute, and I would love to have a movie. I wish Tim Burton would go through and make a movie of Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, because it was by far and away one of my favorite books that I read this year. It was so cute. I loved it to death. The next book that I read with my husband. It was Under the Whispering Door. We did a long 3-week road trip and listened to a bunch of books, and that was one of them. And I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really sweet. I definitely like these style of books. I definitely like his books. My brain is not working. I can't remember his name. TJ Klum. By the way, I was looking up my Goodreads stuff because I have everything on Goodreads. I only keep my new books on Storygraph and I keep all of my books on Goodreads. And I reread the entire Percy Jackson series and the Heroes of Olympus series this year. So I didn't mention that earlier, but that was 10 books right there that I listened to. So yeah. I keep wanting to say T. Kingfisher, even though I haven't read any of her books yet. I have one, but I haven't read it yet. I don't know why. TJ Klum, it's the T's, I don't know. TJ Klum, the Under the Whispering Door. I know that was really hit and miss for a lot of people, but I found it a very cute love story, redemption story, and I really enjoyed reading it. My husband also loved it. So that was a big win for us. My number 1 book of the year was The Lost Boys. It is by Christina Henry, and she writes a lot of twisted tales, which ironically my least favorite books are also from her, which I find kind of funny that my favorite and my least favorite books come from the exact same author. But The Lost Boys was really good. It was the real story behind Peter Pan and Captain Hook. And I have watched and heard a bunch of stories about what if Peter Pan is the actual villain. And this is kind of one of those types of stories where you're wondering, is Peter Pan good or is Peter Pan bad? And you spend the entire book really, really not sure which side Peter Pan's on. And it really does make you think that is he actually the villain in these stories? Because I don't know. He's always just, yeah. Anyways, I love Peter Pan, and so this was definitely a step in the right direction for me, and I think I actually like this much better than the original. Okay, so as far as like a disappointing read, but it's not a hate, I'm gonna say the way that I Hate Fairyland 4 ended. I don't know if I'm mad about the ending, disappointed about the ending, or oh my god, that figures about the ending. But I read this entire series about this girl who is like 35 years old, who is stuck in the body of an 8-year-old, and all she wants is out of fairyland. And then when the series finally ends, I'm just annoyed. I guess there's no other way to put that. I was annoyed. So I would love to hear from anybody else who's read this series. What did you think of the end? Because I read the whole thing, and the end just, Okay, so that's all. That's my disappointment. As far as my worst books, I don't like books that don't go anywhere. I don't like books that basically start and end at the same time. So everything that happened in the book was completely worthless. And I don't know if that's giving a lot away or not. But the Babysitter Covenant is a book about a babysitter who finds out she's a witch, and mayhem ensues. But I don't feel like anything happened. I feel like we ended at the same spot we began, and that annoys me. So I don't think I'm going to be picking up the rest of the series. If you think that's a mistake, please let me know. If you liked the book, I'd love to know why. I liked it until it finished. And it was one of those books where I'm just like, really? That's how you're going to end this? I feel like that's kind of a working thing here, is that the last 2 books that I mentioned, I just didn't like how they ended. And unfortunately for me, the ending can make or break a book. And those endings just weren't for me. One book that I put is kind of a disappointment, but I didn't like it either. I know I didn't like it because I immediately put it in my unhaul pile, and that was A Lesson in Vengeance. But I can't remember the story. All I remember is that it had something to do with witches, and unless I go and read the synopsis, I made these notes a couple of days ago, and I still can't remember what the stupid book is about. This one just won't stick. It won't implant in my head. And I have a beautiful outright copy of it that I have on Pango that I have probably overpriced, but I wasn't sure what to do with it, and I didn't want to sell it to Half Price Books because Half Price Books was going to give me $2 for it, and I just felt like that was a ripoff. So yeah, I don't remember the book. To me, if I can't remember the book, it was just a disappointment. I didn't like it because of that. I don't know. Like I said, I immediately put it into my unhaul pile, so I know I didn't like it. I just don't remember why. The next one is Nothing But Blackened Teeth. I think that book had a lot of potential. I think that it had an amazing premise. It's about this group of friends who goes to Japan, and this bride, and it's like a bridal party. So you have a bride, the groom, the best friend who's been ordained to marry them, and then their witnesses. And the whole point was to get married in a haunted house. And then crap ensues. I think that the premise was amazing. I just don't like how it was done. I don't like how they finished the book. You know, I'm like, you have this amazing plot idea, and I didn't like the execution. So is it a horrible book? No. Is it a book that I would recommend? Also no, because I don't mind novellas. I think that if you're going to do a novella, you need to do it right, and I just don't feel like that novella was done very well. And then my biggest letdown, my worst books of the year, I actually have right over here. So hold on. These books were in my, I don't know what to do with this books pile, but I really think the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I think I just need to unhaul them, which is unfortunate because I just bought the third book to the series, and I just don't think I'm going to end up reading it. So I have Alice and the Red Queen. These are both Christina Henry books. I adore Alice in Wonderland. I enjoy the creepiness, the weirdness, the just off-putting way that Alice in Wonderland was created. And I have read the original, and I've read several different versions, like alternate versions of this book. And I keep coming back to the point where I realized I just don't like these. So the way that this is set up, again, great premise, is that Alice is in a mental institution and she's talking to somebody through the wall. And we find out that the person that she's talking to through the wall is the Mad Hatter. And the Mad Hatter keeps going on and on about the Jabberwocky who's in the basement and how he can feel him waking up and that they need to get out of the insane asylum. So basically they break out of the insane asylum. Then they head home to the Mad Hatter's home, not Alice's home, because Alice was put into the insane asylum by her family because she kept talking about the white rabbit. And so the idea of this is it takes place after she goes to Wonderland and she's completely insane and doesn't remember what happened to her while she was in there. Again, I think my problem is that I really did like the first book. It left on a huge cliffhanger. So I immediately picked up the second book. And the second book is stupid. And I don't know how to describe this book other than that you kind of get to meet some of the other characters. So the main characters in the first one are Alice, the Mad Hatter, the White Rabbit. I'm trying to think of who other, like the Caterpillar was in it, and a couple other characters. You don't meet the Red Queen, you don't meet the Tweedles until the second book. And it was just, I don't know, it was really weird. And I keep going back and forth because part of me loves the whimsy and the weirdness of these books, but part of me just really, really hates these books. So sorry, I'm picking up off stickers. I have book off stickers on the backs of these and they were bothering me. So I'm sitting here picking off stickers while I'm trying to talk to you. So if I'm making no sense, I apologize. And if you can hear me picking, I'm also apologize. But yeah, they've been in my I don't know what to do pile. I have a pile of books over here that I have either tried and can't get into, that I've had forever and I haven't touched, or that I have extras of and I'm giving them to somebody else. Like I have a second set of Throne of Glass books because my husband bought me the white set of Throne of Glass books from the UK and they never showed up. We waited like 2 months. The things never showed up. And so he ordered me new books. The new book showed up after a couple of weeks, and like 2 months later, the original set showed up. So they showed up after like 4 or 5 months. So now I have 2 copies. So I kept the best ones and I put the still good copies, but not the best of the group, into a pile to go to my sibling. Anyways, tangent aside, I have them sitting over there because I don't know what to do with them, because part of me really hates these books. And then part of me is intrigued by how weird they are, and maybe I should keep them, maybe I should read the third one, I don't know. The third one's around here somewhere. I'm just not positive where it's at, but I know I have it because I saw it the other day. But yeah, that's my list of my best and my worst. I would love to know what yours were. I have been watching a lot of the best and the worst. My favorite videos to watch are when other booktubers go through and read people's best and worst. I know I'm way too late for that. And the fact that none of the books that I read are going to be on anybody's list because I read weird books and I'm severely outdated. I'm definitely not reading the in books. I do buy some of them though. I just haven't read them. So far this year is turning out better. I did read like 12 books in January. They were all rereads except for one. But I am doing better this month. So after March is over, I will do like a quarterly wrap up for you guys so you guys can get an idea of what I'm reading. I'm not reading fast enough to do them monthly. They would just be like 2-second videos. Here's the 2 books I read and the 12 rereads. But I guess it makes sense. January I was incapacitated for most of it. So I was listening to a lot of books versus this month where I'm on my Kindle 24/7 because the books that I ordered never showed up. So I'm reading them on my Kindle instead, but I'm actually reading with my eyeballs. It's kind of nice and I have missed it. So yeah, that's going to be it for now. I need to stop rambling. I will see you guys soon for another video.